Hello and welcome to Tribune Sports Live, brought to you by Paul Davis Restoration of Birmingham. I'm Zack Steele along with Damian Mitchell. And Damian, one of our teams is not moving forward.
Yeah, man. Hewitt-Trussville, they slipped up against Thompson. It was not a very good showing, but Clay-Chalkville and Pinson Valley, they're doing what they need to do, and they're advancing on the 6A playoffs.
Pinson Valley got a little bit of a surprise in their ball game Friday night, a little closer than everyone thought.
Yeah, Muscle Shoals actually, they put up a front, and they gave Bo Nix some things to think about that he hadn't seen up until this point. Give a lot of credit to Muscle Shoals. They scored 21 points on a pretty solid Pinson Valley defense. That, they were making plays when they needed to, but Pinson Valley still prevailed and came out on top.
And Clay-Chalkville goes on the road to Hartselle and makes a statement.
Yeah, in Hartselle they came in undefeated. And with Clay-Chalkville, the way they were rolling, they ran into a buzzsaw, and Clay-Chalkville definitely looked impressive.
Absolutely. So, again, we're setting up for Clay and Pinson. Now, they both got one more game to go. They got to take care of business this week, and then they're on a collision course.
Yeah, man. They handle this week. It's going to happen semifinals. It's just a remake of last year. And you think about the things that have gone wrong, that have gone right this season for both teams. They matched up well in the regular season, and now it's survive or die at this point.
Absolutely. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about that Clay-Chalkville win at Hartselle.
Trussville Vision Care is now proud to offer sports vision training for athletes. This sports-specific training improves hand-eye coordination and reaction time. As a former college athlete, Dr. Steele knows how important perfect vision is to succeed on the athletic field. For athletes, 20/20 vision is not enough. Trussville Vision Care.
Paul Davis Emergency Services of Northeast Birmingham helps by providing needed cleanup and restoration services. Through the appropriate tools and processes, we avoid wasting valuable time to get your property to its previous state as quickly as we possibly can.
Clay-Chalkville Cougars, number 5, Big Zack Day. Number 6, Willie Miller. Number 30, Leroy King. And number 32, Andrew Thompson.
All right, welcome back. And Damian, Clay-Chalkville goes on the road Friday night. A tough place to play, an undefeated team they're taking on in Hartselle. And boy, they took care of business.
Yeah, and on paper, you thought it'd be a pretty evenly matched game. Hartselle coming in undefeated, Clay-Chalkville with that one loss, but they were looking very, very impressive week after week after week. And they did the same thing this past week, beating them 35-7. Hartselle, they came in with some very impressive numbers. Their running back, they were all about time of possession, ground and pound, but they couldn't get anything done on the Clay-Chalkville defense. They held them out to a shutout all the way up until the fourth quarter, 35-0 in the fourth quarter. You can tell that defense, they have a chip on their shoulder. They put up, you always go back to the Pinson Valley game. You always bring that up with Bo Nix throwing for over 400 some odd yards on them. And they're not letting that happen again. You can tell that they have a different drive. DJ Dale in defensive line, he's playing out of his mind. And Leroy King, a linebacker, he makes just about every play on the football field. The defense just looks great for Clay-Chalkville. The offense, they're putting up numbers, and their playmakers are everywhere. Willie Miller still doing what he's doing best, making plays, throwing the ball all over the place. Logan Pruitt out at wide receiver, Jermichael Thompson, and Courtney Braxton and DeMarcus Burr is a mean 1-2 punch in the backfield, and they're only looking better. And the team that they're facing this coming up week, there was a familiar foe, Oxford. They beat them in the regular season, region foe. So I believe that this is going, they're all the things that are going right for Clay-Chalkville are only just maintaining their role, and you can't stop them at this point.
Well, and I think it really does begin with their defense. Just like you said, they're not going to let teams run the ball on them.
Right.
And if you're a run-heavy team, you're going to have a hard time with that Clay-Chalkville front seven, and Hartzell ran into that Friday night. And I think Clay they had more weapons than Hartzell.
Mm-hmm.
Hartzell, a very tactically sound team,
right?
But when it comes down to it, it's the Jimmies and Joes, not the X's and O's, as they say. So congratulations to Clay. They move on and take on Oxford next week. We'll get into that game a little bit more later in the show. When we come back, we're going to talk about Pinson. Struggled a bit, but put away their opponent in round 3. We'll be back in just a moment.
I'm Drew Lawley, General Manager at Courtesy Buick GMC. Come see us at Courtesy, where we have over 300 vehicles to choose from, including GMCs, Buicks, and certified pre-owned vehicles. Come see us at Courtesy or check us out at courtesybirmingham.com. Proud supporter of our area high school teams.
Jefferson Memorial Funeral Home and Gardens is home-owned and operated by the Seal family. I've known Eddie Seal and his son Adam for over 25 years. They're community-oriented and, more importantly, good folks who know how to take care of people in their time of need. That's how Jefferson Memorial became Trussville's funeral home and cemetery. Jefferson Memorial is located at 1591 Gadsden Highway. You can call them at 322-0543. Before your need arises, let Jefferson Memorial family take care of your family.
Welcome back, and Damian, we thought Pinson would have the easier time this week. It turned out Clay had the easiest time this week. Pinson struggled a little bit with Muscle Shoals, managed to make some plays in the end and stretch the lead out a little bit and put the game away.
Yeah, it happens in the playoffs. Each round the team is only going to get better. And Pinson Valley ran into a Muscle Shoals team that, they have something to prove. This is the defending 6A state champion, so that Muscle Shoals is going to come out with, their best effort. And they did put up a nice fight that was very, very competitive up until, late in the game. And then, Pinson Valley, they put buckled their chin straps, they tightened up their shoelaces, and it was like, let's play Pinson Valley football.
And you bring up a good point. When you're the defending state champion, you have a bullseye on your back every week.
Oh, without a doubt.
And in the playoffs, it's tough to get up every week, especially when you see what's looming down the road for Pinson. And this may have been a good thing for them. Maybe coming in a little complacent, maybe coming in, we'll just roll out there and destroy everybody we've played. Why not? We've done it all season long, other than Hoover. And, this might be a nice wake-up call for them to just say, you know what, we got to go to work every week.
Right, exactly. It's you wanted to see if they don't play their A game, they're capable to get beat. So there are leaks in in some things. But as far as just getting after it, the defense, they still played, very sound football, only giving up 21 points. So it's not like they gave up a tremendous amount, but still, they want to shut everybody out. The defense has played lights out up until this point. They gave up 21 points, but you still see that they're rolling. Pinson Valley still looks good. Bo Nix is still running that offense. But as far as, the competition level, it's only going to get better each and every week. So, Homewood is going to put up some challenges for the Pinson Valley offense and defense as well. And it's going to be up to Patrick Nix, Coach Nix and Bo to make sure the offense is right and the defense, just keep playing championship level football. Homewood
got by Gardendale last week. Didn't blow them off the road or anything. They got by.
Right.
Another game that Pinson should win, but that's why they play the game, right?
Exactly. When the kickoff happens at 7 o'clock, you never know what's going to happen.
Absolutely. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about Hewitt-Trussville, their season-ending loss down at Thompson, and we'll put a cap on their season. We'll be back in just a moment.
Have you been to Discount Warehouse lately? New electronics, brand name makeup, and bedding arrive daily. Follow their Facebook page to find out about special sales on clothing, tools, and fireworks. Discount Warehouse, where you will never pay retail price. For every step of the home buying process, turn to Laura Cardwell Dennis with Keller Williams Trussville and Tanya Golden with First Bank Mortgage, located in the new Keller Williams office in downtown Trussville. They work together to ensure a pleasant home buying experience because their special interest is you.
For your hometown Warriors, number 6, Will Connor.
Welcome back. And Damian, a disappointing finish for Hewitt-Trussville Friday night down at Thompson. Didn't play their best ball game.
Not at all, man. They didn't look like a very, very well-oiled machine like they have been. The offense actually struggled. The defense, I mean, they have their ups and downs, but when the offense is struggling, it really brings out the bad things in the defensive side of the ball. They couldn't really get anything flowing. Paul Tyson had 3 interceptions. It was not an impressive showing, and this is not the time when you want to have a game like this. The second round of the playoffs, familiar opponent, and you know what happened to them the first time that they had played, and it was not the best way to end the season.
Well, speaking of the defense, they played reasonably well in this ball game, considering they had 3 turnovers on offense.
Yeah.
This game was 10-7. Late in the second quarter, and then the offense had a 3 and out, and Thompson does their thing, and it kind of unraveled from there. It got away from them a little bit. They had to play catch up. They really couldn't use their running game like they wanted to, and so I think it took Hewitt out of their element a little bit. And when you're on the road playing a team like Thompson, it's hard to overcome 3 interceptions. Yeah,
and another thing, Armani Goodwin only had like 11 rushes. And he's always been your bell cow going into the game. And, he's had up to like 30 rushes on some games. And they couldn't really get jailed. And you can tell that the offense, it's husky fast. And they couldn't really jump out get into the groove, couldn't speed up the game because they were playing behind the chains most of the time. And it was frustrating. You can tell that it was frustrating for everyone as a whole, because it was like when the defense did make a stop, the offense couldn't get anything going. And when the offense did spark up a play or something, the defense ended up, falling back. And special teams also came into play as well. Had a kickoff return fumbled, was recovered by Thompson. But it was not an impressive showing, and it's sad because you see those guys, they kept fighting, and you wish that they could turn something together, but it was basically like the telling of what happened the whole season.
Yeah. Well, I think they would tell you they're probably disappointed with the way they finished. Getting to the second round and going out the way they did. Yeah. Still a good season for Hewitt-Trussville and a lot to build on. Now they're going to lose some guys. Tyson's going to be gone. Yeah. Pierce Quick's gone. They're losing some folks, some key weapons, but they have a lot of good players coming back.
Without a doubt. On the offense side of the ball, you still have Zalen Worship coming back. You still have Armani Goodwin in the backfield. It's going to come into a new quarterback, a new system. But like Coach Floyd has done up until this point, we just reload. There's always going to be guys that can help in certain areas. You're going to have some defensive players missing. Creed Parker back there, experienced safety. But Malachi Moore, he's a corner, so he's an Alabama commit as well. So he has another year to get better, get developed. And I'm expecting some big things for them next year. But you also have to take into consideration that you have to look at everything as a whole. They've had some great teams past, 12-1. This year was 8-4. So you have to start thinking, like, what's going wrong? You have to turn this page. Really coming into this year, Hewitt-Trussville was looked at as a championship contender. And, to fall the way that they did, it's kind of just, there's, what's really going on over there? Yeah. But like I said, they can replace those guys. It may not be the same caliber because nobody can be another Javarius Johnson. Nobody can be another Paul Tyson. But the guys that are coming up, they'll be fine.
I think one of the main things that they need to improve on next year is going to be on the defensive side of the ball. They've got some good young players, especially on that defensive line. I expect them to be better next year. And I expect good things out of this team moving forward. The coaching staff's too good for them to not be.
Yeah,
and they've got players there and playmakers all over the field. I think that folks in Trussville can rest assured they're going to have good football teams moving forward. Mm-hmm. Now, will they have as much talent as they had on this year's team? Maybe not. But, as a whole, that program's in good shape. Mm-hmm. And congratulations to them on a good season. Not as good as probably they wish they would have had. But Hewitt finishes 8-4, and congratulations to them. So when we come back, we're going to have predictions for our 2 remaining teams in the area. We'll be back in just a moment.
Kemp's Kitchen, located in the Trussville Shopping Center near the 459 Highway 11 interchange. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the whole family. And watch for our specials on 50-cent wings.
All right, welcome back. And before we get into predictions, we wanted to talk about another one of our former local athletes from here, Ty Pigram, one of my favorites. He is a fantastic phenomenal athlete. Almost leads Maryland to an upset victory over Ohio State Saturday. Just a fantastic ball game from him, and he just did a wonderful job. Came very close to winning that game in the end.
Yeah, man, came down to the last play. And I do credit Maryland for taking that risk. They have nothing to lose at this point. They could play spoiler for Ohio State, who has kind of like a distant shot of getting to the college football playoff. But it came down to one play. Didn't really go well on the 2-point conversion, and they came up a little bit short. But definitely, Ty Pilgrim, he looked good.
Yep, and he's just another one of the long line of very good Clay-Chalkville quarterbacks. Willie Miller's the next guy in line. Let's talk about their ball game with Oxford Friday night. Your thoughts on this one? Clay handled them earlier in the season. Obviously, it's the playoffs. That game was close for a while, so this game is going to be a tough ball game for them.
Yeah, without a doubt. The stakes are that much higher. At first it was a region game trying to seed everybody in the playoffs, and now they're matching up again, third round, day after Thanksgiving. It doesn't get much better than that, and I believe that Clay is going to come out and dominate. They beat them 27-6. Oxford does like to run the ball, but the way that defense is playing right now, they might have to find something else because Clay, they look good.
Yeah, just what we said. If you're going to try to line up and run the ball against Clay-Chalkville, you're going to have problems. So
yeah.
I'm with you. I think Clay wins this game. I think it's going to be close. I think Clay pulls away at the end, maybe wins 31-20, something like that. All right, let's talk about Pinson and how they're going to do against Homewood, a team that Pinson should handle again, but a well-coached team at Homewood.
Oh, without a doubt. Very fundamentally sound, very disciplined football over there. But I still think Pinson Valley, they have too many offensive weapons in that defense. They're just getting after it. They're starting to find themselves. They're defending that state championship with a very, very strong posture. I believe that they're going to get this done. Not to credit that Homewood doesn't deserve to be there, but I do think that Pinson Valley is going to blow them away there towards the end. I believe they're going to keep it close. They will keep it close there early. But Pinson Valley just has too many weapons and too much firepower. I think they handle them.
All right, I'm with you. I think Pinson blows their doors off, actually, especially after this past week against Muscle Shoals. They kind of rolled around a little bit with them, and I think that Pinson's going to take care of business, and it's not going to be close. So, all right, and hopefully we're right on both predictions because it could set up an epic ball game in the semifinals. So we'll be back next week to recap these games and hopefully bring you the game of the century too. So for Damian Mitchell, I'm Zack Steele. So long, everyone.
Thank you.